Okay, so today we're diving into something a little different. We all love a good thought experiment. And I think this one will really get us thinking about e-bikes in a fun way.
Right, like really exploring the current e-bike landscape.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to figure out which 2025 e-bikes would be perfect for each of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, I'm intrigued already.
Right. Like picture Leonardo Donatello,
Yeah.
Michelangelo, and Raphael cruising around on e-bikes.
I mean, it's a fun way to think about it, for sure, and it lets us dive into e-bike classes,
Oh,
all
yeah.
the rules of the road, the whole 9 yards.
Totally. And what's really cool is that we can actually use their distinct personalities as a lens to explore all the different e-bike features and strengths,
Yeah.
you know?
Like what makes a certain e-bike a good fit for one turtle versus another based on their personality.
Yeah. And we've done our homework here.
Absolutely. We've dug deep into their core traits, all the classic TMNT lore. And then we've also looked at the latest, greatest e-bike technology to try and make some ideal
I
pairings.
think we've got some really good ones.
Oh, I'm sure of it. And by doing this, we're not just, playing matchmaker for the turtles.
Oh, that is a perk.
It is a perk,
Yeah,
but we're also giving everyone listening a better understanding of what's out there in the e-bike world.
totally. So before we get into the turtles themselves, let's make sure we're all on the same page with the e-bike basics.
Good idea. Let's lay the groundwork.
Okay, so you've got your e-bike classes. Class 1, that's pedal assist, only up to 20 miles per hour.
Your standard pedal assist.
Then there's Class 2, also 20 miles per hour max, but
Yeah.
you've got the throttle,
Just a little boost when you need it.
exactly. And then Class 3 pedal assist again, but this time up to 28 miles per hour. So,
Dead up there.
yeah, a little quicker. And then, of course, the legal stuff is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah, the regulations are always evolving.
By 2025 California, they're going to require Class 1 to 3 e-bikes to be pedal assist only.
Interesting. So throttle's out for those.
Yep, but Class 2, you can still have a throttle up to 20 miles per hour.
Okay, so there's some variation there. And then what about the federal regulations?
Federally, a low-speed e-bike is defined as under 20 miles per hour, motor only, and less than 750 watts. But then, of course, state and local rules, they can be different.
Right, like certain trails might have lower speed limits.
Exactly. So there's a lot to keep in mind.
Definitely makes choosing an e-bike even more interesting. I got to consider where you're going to be riding.
Absolutely. All right, so are we ready to meet the turtles?
Let's do it. I'm ready to shell out some e-bike wisdom.
Okay, so first up, we've got Leonardo, the disciplined leader responsible, always focused on safety, and, very much a rule follower.
Okay, so for Leo, we're looking for an e-bike that really embodies reliability, efficiency, and of course, safety. Those are his top priorities.
Definitely. So what have we got that fits the bill?
I think the Aventon Level Point 3 would be an excellent choice for him. It's a really solid commuter bike, great for getting around, and it's got all those safety features that Leo would appreciate.
Okay, like what kind of safety features are we talking?
Well, it's got hydraulic disc brakes for reliable stopping power, and it's got an integrated battery, which is not only sleek looking, but also more secure. And then on top of that, it's got an electronic wheel lock and a motion sensor alarm.
Wow, so like basically theft proof.
Pretty much, yeah. Which again goes back to that sense of responsibility that Leo has.
He's not going to be leaving his ride unattended without taking precaution.
Exactly. He's always prepared.
And then class-wise, for Leo, what are we thinking?
Well, with his by-the-book Mature pedal assist all the way makes the most sense, right?
Right, so class 1 or maybe even class 3.
Yeah, Class 1 would definitely reflect his respect for the rules, but Class three's higher pedal-assisted speed,
Yeah.
that could appeal to his need to cover ground efficiently.
Right, like when he's got to get somewhere fast but still within the law.
Exactly, especially given California's upcoming pedal assist only rule for Class 3.
Right, right. And one thing's for sure, you won't be seeing Leonardo exceeding any speed limits with a throttle.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's just not his style.
No way his riding style would be focused, disciplined, efficient. Setting a good example for his brothers.
Totally leading by example, that's Leonardo.
Okay, so next up we've got Donatello, the brains of the operation, always tinkering, inventing, fascinated by technology, but also very practical.
Yeah, so for Donnie, we need an e-bike that screams innovation and practicality. Something with some seriously advanced tech.
Right, an e-bike that can keep up with his brain.
Exactly. And I think the Electric One would be right up his alley. This e-bike is packed with innovative features.
Oh yeah, like what kind of features are we talking?
Well, it's got this pinion internal gearbox and a Gates belt drive, which means minimal maintenance, maximum efficiency, like it's just built to last.
Donnie would love the efficiency, the ingenuity.
Oh, absolutely. He'd appreciate the engineering that went into it.
And what about class for Donatello, class 2 for the throttle so he can, power his gadgets, or maybe class 3 for that pure pedal assist speed?
I think he could see the value in both.
Right.
Honestly, class 2 with the throttle would be great for those times when he needs to carry extra equipment, for his experiments.
Right, like he could have a little trailer hitched up to his e-bike.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, class 3, that high pedal assisted speed, that just feels very,
Yeah.
technologically pure.
Yeah, very streamlined.
And I could totally see Donatello coming up with some theoretical justification for using the throttle above 20 miles per hour, in a very controlled environment for his experiments.
Right, of course, always in the name of science.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think generally he would be a stickler for following the rules, respecting speed limits, especially in public.
Right, safety first, always.
And you can bet that Donatello would be meticulously monitoring his bike's performance data, every time he rides.
Yeah, he'd be tracking all those metrics, looking for ways to optimize things.
Exactly. Always thinking like an engineer.
Okay, so now let's move on to Michelangelo. The life of the party, full of energy, loves adventure, loves excitement, and of course has a great sense of style.
Yeah, so for Mikey, we're looking for an e-bike that's all about agility style. And of course, that fun factor, it's got to be a ride that can keep up with his energy.
Absolutely.
So what have we got?
I think the Aventon Adventure Point 2 would be perfect for Michelangelo. This is a fat tire e-bike.
Oh, nice. Those always look so cool.
Yeah, they do. And they're super versatile, comfortable on different types of terrain. So Mikey could take it off-road if he wanted to explore.
Right, like hitting the trails, having some adventures.
Exactly. And plus the Adventure Point 2, it just has this cool, distinct look, and it comes in a bunch of different colors.
Yeah. So Mikey could pick one that really matches his personality.
Absolutely. And then class-wise for Michelangelo, what are we thinking? Class 2 for that instant throttle action, so you can just zip around and have fun? Or maybe class 3 for that exhilarating speed?
Yeah, both good options.
I think you'd probably lean towards class 2, that immediate thrill of the throttle. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was tempted by the speed of a class 3. Oh, definitely. And I could totally see him pushing the limits a little with the throttle,
Yeah, but hopefully keeping others in mind.
Right, like he wouldn't want to cause any trouble.
Exactly. Just having some fun within reason, and his writing style would definitely be energetic and playful. Lots of expression.
Yeah, lots of tricks, maybe.
Maybe some wheelies. Who knows?
That sounds about right.
He'd be making a statement with his ride, that's for sure.
Okay, so last but not least, we have Raphael, the tough guy of the group, independent, maybe a little rebellious, values his freedom, and he's all about efficiency.
All right, so for Raph, we need an e-bike that's powerful, rugged, and, maybe has a bit of a stealthy aesthetic.
Yeah, like an e-bike that can handle anything he throws at it.
Exactly, and I think the Angway X24 would be a great fit for him. This thing is a beast.
Okay, I'm liking this already.
It's got a super powerful 1,000-watt motor, and it can reach some pretty high speeds, although, always check your local laws before you go pushing those limits.
Oh, yeah, safety first.
But yeah, it's also got full suspension, so it can handle bumps in rough terrain no problem, and it's just got this really rugged build,
Yeah, like it could survive anything.
Pretty much, and I think that would appeal to Raphael's independent spirit,
Yeah.
He doesn't need anything fancy, he just needs something that works.
Right. Something reliable and tough.
Exactly, and then for class, I'm thinking class 3, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Give him that top pedal assist speed for maximum efficiency, when he's got to get things done.
Yeah, Raphael's all about efficiency. And then as for the throttle, well, knowing him, he might see exceeding speed limits with the throttle as a necessary means to an end,
Right, like if it's important, he's going to do what he needs to do.
Exactly. He's going to prioritize his own sense of efficiency and freedom over strict rules.
He does play by his own rules.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think you could expect a very assertive and fast-paced riding style from Raphael.
Yeah, no doubt he'd be zipping around the city.
Probably cutting some corners, too.
Okay, so, wow, we've gone through all 4 turtles and their ideal e-bikes. And, it's just amazing how each turtle's personality really dictates what kind of e-bike would be the best fit for them.
Right. It's not just about the specs, it's about the whole package.
Totally. And I think it's super interesting how the e-bike market is so diverse. There's really something out there for everyone, no matter what your needs or preferences are.
Absolutely. And I think that brings up an important point for everyone listening. We've talked about all these different classes and features, the evolving legal landscape. So now it's time to think about you.
Yeah, what kind of e-bike rider are you?
Exactly. What kind of e-bike would best fit your personality and how you would use it,
Would you be a Leonardo, a Donatello, a Michelangelo, or a Raphael?
Or maybe you're a combination of a few.
Yeah, maybe you're a Raphangelo.
Exactly. So what would your ultimate hero in a half-shell ride be?
That's the question to ponder.
Food for thought.
So until next time, Happy riding, everyone. Stay safe out there.
And keep on shelling.
Kawabunga.